here at Queen's University, where Gerry Carroll and a small number of people have assembled to deliver speeches and protest with regards to the Palestine and Israel conflict. As you can see, most people are just walking on by, minding their own business. There doesn't seem to be too much attention being paid to it. I'm going to go over and see exactly what they have to say and maybe get a conversation with a couple of people, find out their intake and views on the whole situation.
We will not stand by and watch as innocent Palestinians are being slaughtered. The death toll in Gaza has now reached 7,000, with civilian infrastructure being the prime target of Israel's relentless airstrikes. People's homes, a hospital, and now a church. These are war crimes. This is genocide. We need to call on Queens and our government now to support BDS, to support the measures that are necessary to prevent any more lives from being taken. Thank you all for coming out today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Esme. Next up is Ewan Mclay. Right, so again, thanks Kieran and thank you everyone for showing up today. Right now, what we are witnessing is genocide in real time, and that's absolutely terrifying. The power of social media has allowed us to deeply connect with the Palestinian cause. I've spoken to Palestinian people myself. I've heard the horror stories. I've heard the relentless, brutal onslaught by the apartheid state. One man I spoke to, a charity worker who works with disadvantaged kids in Palestine, had his cousin killed right in front of him. Does that sound like a democracy? No! This is why I want Queen's University and the Student Union to listen to these stories, listen to Palestinian voices, listen to the actual people of Palestine, not the dehumanising rhetoric that the Western media has employed against them. And one of the demands I would like to reiterate what Esme said is BDS. Since 2005, the international community supporting a liberated Palestine has called for BDS on campuses. We call the university and the student union to fully implement it. In a capitalist system, BDS will economically hit Israel, which gives us a greater chance of ending this terrorist apartheid state. And one other thing, when talking to people about this, people will often deflect and say, oh, but there's two sides of the story. And there is. There's the side of the oppressed and the side of the oppressor. And we will always stand on the side of the oppressed. Free Palestine, fuck Zionism, fuck the apartheid state.
Thank you very much. I'm just scared to speak, but I think it's a moment we all have to speak on the behalf of Palestine, on the behalf of humanity. If we really want to live in peace, just consider we are living in a peaceful society. But think about the children, think about the people who've been oppressed for so many years, who only want such support, who only want their voices. Free Palestine, free the people. There are kids, there are small children who are suffering, not only women, not only old men, but people of Palestine are suffering from many, many years. And it's time to stop that genocide, it's time to stop that apartheid. And it's time for us to raise our voices. It's time for us to raise our voices for the support of Palestinian people. And it's the least we can do. It's the least we can do on the behalf of being a human being. So that's all I want to say.
Thank you. I'm a shop steward for Unite over in the Mclay Library and I'm a member of the Socialist Party, but I'm speaking today in a personal capacity. The example that was cited at this event last week of the Italian workers who refused to load arms onto an Israeli ship is a very important example for us all. I think it shows the role that the organised working class has to play in this struggle. Over the last number of weeks, we've seen millions of people all around the world take to the streets in support of the Palestinian people and Palestinian liberation, which is fantastic, but we need to take it further. We need to take this fight into our workplaces, into our schools, and of course into our universities. We need to call on our employers to sever any ties that they have with the ruthless Israeli regime, and the Irish Congress of Trade Unions needs to call for the Israeli ambassador to be expelled for the genocide.
Yeah!
Trade union movements all around the world must stand in solidarity with the Palestinian people, must defend their right to resist occupation and oppression, and it must call for a mass movement of working class and young people in the tradition of the First Intifada against the Israeli regime. oppression of the Palestinian people has its roots in imperialism and colonialism. Imperialism and colonialism have their roots in turn in the capitalist system. The fight for Palestinian liberation must be a socialist fight. 21% of Israelis live below the poverty line. The ruthless right-wing Netanyahu and Ben Gvir regime has been attacking democratic rights within Israel as well. And so colonialism and imperialism and capitalism are the common enemies of the Israeli and the Palestinian working class. We need to see a mass movement of Jewish and Arab people together against the oppressor. And those who say that it's pie in the sky to call for solidarity between Palestinians and Israelis, it has happened before. Before 1948, before the Nakba, Arabs and Jews stood together in solidarity and struck together against the British Empire. Hatred between two communities, it's not something that's organic, it's not something that's old as the hills. It's been stoked up as a tool of divide and rule within living memory by the imperialist and capitalist powers, just the same as they did here. Universities around the world have been threatened in the past weeks with the withdrawal of funding and billionaires where they are beholden. It's a clear sign of the danger of the commercialisation of the higher education sector. They can come in and threaten to withdraw funding if universities don't clamp down on protests on their campuses, don't clamp down on students and academics who speak out against Israel. We need publicly funded higher education, free at the point of use, to make sure our universities stay a safe haven for people to speak out on this issue and any other. The last point I'll make, I want to speak about the experience of Courtney Carey, a Dublin tech worker who was fired this week from the Israeli software company Wix in Dublin for speaking out on social media against the Israeli regime, calling it a terrorist state and saying that they were bombing Gaza indiscriminately. It's a severe and really dangerous attack on workers' rights, and the Irish Congress of Trade Unions needs to condemn it, needs to fight against it before an incredibly dangerous precedent is set for workers' rights on this island. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm a student at Queens. I'm also Iraqi, and anyone from the Middle East can tell you a story about how their family has been displaced or how their rights have been suppressed, and that's not exclusive to the Middle East, it's anywhere in the world. But there's no excuse for people to be quiet in the age of social media. The days of the media conglomerates are gone. This is just like when the Vietnam War was brought into people's homes for the very first time in the 60s, and there was protests across countries. This is the very same. This is not detached from any of us. It is in our homes, it is in our phones, it is in our faces. I have many friends who are affected by this directly. I know many people who are stuck in Gaza today, and many people ask why they don't simply leave. And it is because they don't want to repeat the mistake of their ancestors of the Nakba. They want to hold on to their ancestral land, the land they've cared for generations and that has cared for them. And there is no peace in this. This is not an anti-Semitic issue. This is Semites fighting against Semites as well. This is not an issue of religion, of Islam, or of Christianity or Judaism at all. Churches are being bombed. Jewish people are being affected just like Muslims are being affected. There's entire lineages being ended. Over 30 people at a time being bombed, with children having to identify their bodies. This is the definition of ethnic cleansing. And to be on the sidelines doing nothing and to say nothing is to make you complicit. And I grew up in Canada, and in Canada they have this thing they do called the land acknowledgement, where they tell you about who the land truly belongs to before they start any formal event. I believe that this is what people want to reduce Palestine to be a footnote in history of time in hundreds of years of from now. And when we learn about things like slavery or genocide in school, we always think the same thing, which is how could anyone let this happen? How could anyone not say anything within terms of the Holocaust or anything like that? And the people who are saying nothing now are the reasons those things have happened in the past. We are no better than our forefathers.
Over to the sea! Palestine!